Oh, good evening, there, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the LG Ultragear Tec Gauntlet Season 2, powered by WD Black and AMD Ryzen Radeon. I'm your host, Assassin47. On the desk with me are casters and analysts, Aggressive and Salty. How are you lads doing? Starting with you, Aggressive.
Honestly, I am pumped as hell for this matchup because now, once again, an incredible match is on the card here, ladies and gentlemen. And we do consider this entire matchup. I think that you guys are going to be really happy indeed. You see it in the title, you see it in the boards, and now you're going to be seeing it in today's fixture as well. It's going to be Velocity versus the side of Flamexserenity. The underdogs versus the Fallen Kings, as we dub them, but honestly, they're no longer Fallen Kings anymore. So
Yeah, definitely. Velocity Gaming, they've had their share of lows as well, starting off with Gauntlet Season 2. Couple of losses here and there, but you know what? It's completely fine. They won out their game against the side of Team T69, and they've claimed themselves the fourth spot on the group standings as well, which we will get to later. But Salty, I want to ask you this. What do you think about Velocity Gaming versus the side of Flamexserenity?
I feel like I always love this David versus Goliath scenarios. I love the fact that there's always a surprise package that comes your way. And Aggressive always mentions this, the Gauntlet Season 2 has always been this underdog story, right? You have these new teams coming up and they're starting to bombard these titans of teams. And of course, Velocity Gaming, just like you mentioned, their lineup isn't really fully ready. So they might I don't know, falter a little bit. But again, you can never really know what they can pull off because the last time they played Team T69, I love their strats. I absolutely love the way Amaterasu used UFO and put him in support plays so that the team can actually function properly. So yeah, anything can happen if you have such a leader at the top, and just the prospect of this matchup, it's brilliant.
Absolutely. So let's move over towards the MVP standings, by the way, because there's a little bit of a change over there from the last time we saw the MVP standings. Going to be seeing SK Rossi, who was in the first spot. Going to be seeing SK on the second spot, Paradox on the third, and Knight Rider on the fourth spot as well. So players from none of these teams, that is Flamexserenity nor Velocity Gaming, are on the MVP standings. But we are really looking forward to seeing MW1 back in because we know for a fact the start of Gauntlet Season 2, MW1 was at the first and the second spot respectively. Then he dropped down to the third, the fourth, and now he's just out of the top four as well. So yeah, SK Rossi is currently owning the throne as always, and we are looking forward to seeing Velocity Gaming once again bring back MW1 or even someone else into the MVP standings. Let's move over towards the group standings, by the way, and I'm going to let you in on a little bit of an information. As I did tell you, right, Velocity Gaming, after that win against the side of Team T69, they made their way onto the fourth spot, and they dethroned the side of Team T69 as well, down to the fifth spot. Flamexserenity haven't had a win yet. They don't have a win yet, and that is a little bit of a problem now, Aggressive, because remember, they're already five games in. Yeah, they're already 5 games in. Haven't had a win yet. They've got 2 more games left, including this one, that is Velocity Gaming's. So after the match between Velocity Gaming, they're going to be having 1 more game left in the Gauntlet Season 2 before we jump in towards the playoffs. So I feel as if they don't really stand a chance to make their way in towards the playoffs. What do you think?
yeah, personally, in my eyes, considering the track record and the analytical standings, Flamexserenity, them trying to take a 2-0 or maybe even a 2-1 against the side of Velocity, it's going to be very, very, very less. But at the same time, I do believe that if the side of Flamexserenity are at bare minimum able to take that 1 point, at least they can shoot themselves up towards the number 5 position no matter what happens. And then just pray to the orange cheeses that they're just going to be able to stay there. And it's going to be the side of Team T69 and, of course, the squad just losing out on their matches. And they do not really have to, face off relegation and try to go back and power through the entirety of Season 3 to come back here on towards the side of the group stages. But to ask them to win here against Velocity, I don't think that's going to happen that quick.
Well, that's It's going to be decided after the game. That is, I mean, I know for a fact that Flamexserenity, they are not having the best of the times, but
Mhm.
let's see who they are going to be facing against, as we are going to be jumping straight in towards the team spotlight for the side of Velocity Gaming. Their team intro, their player lineup, whatever you want to call it. And yeah, Salty, go ahead and take it over. Walk us through the entirety of Velocity Gaming and what are you expecting out of them today against the side of Flamexserenity?
I mean, there's nothing to say about this team, honestly. Everybody in India knows about Velocity, and everybody in India knows about what MW1, what Helep, what Right is, what Amaterasu can bring on the table. Of course, I feel like Velocity have been trying to pull off a PSG, honestly, the way they've been able to get even Deathmaker. They have MW1 as
Yeah.
well, so it's kind of like, bring in Messi when you already have Neymar and Mbappe on board already. So I feel they're trying to be the best in the country. They already are somewhat. They have some competition. They want to eliminate the competition as well. But yeah, I mean, I guess this lineup isn't gonna play today. It might actually be Euphoria hopping in place of Helef. Okay, so
So
I've just got information that this lineup is playing today. So I guess that basically means Flaming Serenity have some added problems, don't you think, Assassin?
Yeah.
that's true, though. Flamexserenity definitely are going to be having a little bit of an issue because, hey, the players are back and they're all set in for the side of Velocity Gaming. Yes, you were right. Euphoria was playing for the last two games, but now that all the players are in, today's playing lineup is going to be Marcel, Ace, Amaterasu, MW1, and Hellfighter. So yeah, this is gonna be the lineup for the side of Velocity Gaming, and well, I hope and pray for the side of Flamexserenity that they have their strat books out and ready as well. Let's move on over to the player spotlight brought to you by AB Ryzen Radeon for the side of Velocity Gaming, by the way, and take a look at who exactly is going to be the one who's going to be putting in a lot of impact into this game, and it's going to be none other than MW1, the guy who is known to shake the earth beneath their opponents. And yeah, with 142 kills, 113 deaths, 39 assists, and an ACS of 256, know for a fact that MW1 is definitely the number one out there for the side of Velocity Gaming, and he is about to shake the earth beneath the side of Flamexserenity as well. Do you have anything to
Ironically, he
report?
doesn't play a breach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
True
Like
that.
if he
Yeah,
did though,
if he did,
Salty.
that would have been actually like a good, like it was a good analogy. But do you have anything more to add to that, aggressive?
MW1 in my eyes, he's like calm before the storm. You know for a fact that the site is blowing through, you're on Haven, everyone's just chilling, no real noise is being made. And you're that Cypher player sitting inside of that seaside. Then suddenly you hear a long distance scream saying, "Watch this!" And then you're like, "Oh, it's probably the jet somewhere near that A side. I'll make a rotation." And then immediately as soon as you want to go in for that rotation, you hear an updraft, you hear a dash, and you hear just two daggers pop you in the forehead, and you're just dead. And you're like, "Oh, that's probably MW1 right there." That's just him. He is the myth. He's the man. He's a legend. He knows exactly what he's doing. And when he steps on the server here, Assassin, you know for a fact that he's going to tear through all of the defenses that could be coming announced from the side of Flamexserenity. Because if he is going to be the one on that server, you know for a fact that they're not going to have an easy time.
Definitely. I feel as if the side of Flamexserenity are definitely going to be having a tough time, but let's hope that they are ready as well. So let's move on over towards that team intro and take a look at what exactly their roster is going to be like as well. So side of team Flamexserenity, take it over, Salty. Walk us through the entire lineup.
I feel like today this lineup, this is a very new team, of course, and I mean, honestly, I haven't seen them play all that much. I wish I could have said a lot about this team, but the way they've played, yeah, they don't have a win yet. They yet to get their first victory, and just like Aggressive said, I guess the best thing for them would be to avoid relegation at this point because they don't really want to go through qualifiers to qualify for season 3 again. I feel like qualifying for season 2 has been a pretty big achievement for them. They're playing with the best in the country right now, so they deserve all the pat in the back. But yeah, there's a lot to improve, of course, and that basically means you need to stay in the competition. Just by saying that, I feel like staying in the competition shouldn't really be all that difficult because, of course, you only need to get those 2-3 extra points to avoid relegation and probably get beyond the sus squad and godlike. It's not going to be easy, of course. They have to take over the likes of Velocity and good teams in that sense. But I guess taking away a map or two, or just chipping at the opposition, is something which they can do at best at this point. I'm not really counting them out, honestly. I definitely want them to maybe pull on an underdog showing and possibly pull off an upset as well. But it's a very big ask. It certainly is a very big ask.
For surely is. Well, let's see who exactly is going to be the player who might just go ahead and give us a little bit of a different outlook on this match. Most of them are going to
But
say
they're
that
positive.
Flamexserenity. Oh yeah, that. Damn, son. Andy Meister, 92 kills, 148 deaths, 33 assists, and an ACs of 159. Well, the solo player, the initiator for the side of Flamexserenity, is going to be on the player spotlight today, brought to you by AMD Ryzen Radeon. And hey, Aggressive, do you have any tidbits for us from the side of Andy Meister?
When you consider his pose, man, that's probably the best thing that I've got. But at the same time, looking at his stats, it's a little bit rough around the edges, I would say. When you consider the kills being 92 and the deaths being that much overall, nearly double almost of 148, he's been having a pretty rough time. But at the same time, when you do consider Animaster, he has been performing very admirably. The recons and his droning abilities are present, but he's just not as confident when it's come down to his gunfight capabilities. And it's understandable. As a solo player, you need to think about a lot, but at the same time, you need to find that fine balance of using your utility and also going for those type of different engagements. He has been performing and he has been learning here, Assassin. That is for sure. He's developing his skills as a player as the tournament goes through, but there is going to be a certain limit because now you only have 2 matches left. You need to stand up greatly. And when you consider that your opposition spotlight is going to be the side of MW1, one of the best star fraggers in the entirety of our region, that's going to be a really difficult shoe to fill because I think they're trying to wear shoe sizes that are almost like 5 to 10 sizes bigger than yours. Because Animeister is trying to go up against when you consider the spotlight for MW1. It's going to be quite difficult, especially when he's on the Sova and he's going to be on a receiving end of a lot of pain when he's on the defensive side and MW1's going to be the one initiating.
Yeah, there's going to be a bit of a problem, that's for sure. But the side of Andy Meister, right? I feel as if I've seen him on multiple roles and he kind of is proficient enough. The stats on the Sova didn't look that great. Understandable. Again, as a support, you really can't put up the best of the KDs out there. He's not MW1, he's not SK Rossi, but he surely is an Andy Meister. Let's hope that he's going to be able to give all the intel that his team needs in order to put up that victory as well. But the intel that our audience needs right now is about the map. Which map is going to be played? So let's move it over towards the map veto and take a quick look at what are going to be the maps that are going to be played for this best hit today. And we're going to be starting off with the map of Haven, picked by Flamexserenity. It's a favorite for both Flamexserenity and Velocity Gaming. We have seen both of these teams pick up Haven quite a lot, but today it is going to be Flamexserenity to be picking up the map of Haven. Then we're going to be jumping in over towards Icebox, which is picked by Velocity Gaming, and then I go on towards Morocco, where it's going to be Bind coming in as well as the Decider. So, what are your thoughts on the map veto, Salty?
I actually don't understand Flamexserenity. They try and tempt the line by picking up Haven up against like Velocity Gaming, right? It's their favorite map, it's their home turf. They literally have a library of stats in front of them already. This is the main lineup playing. This is probably not the best start for Flamexserenity if you talk about it. I mean, for sure, they might have a good attacking start to this map, and if they do so, I mean, if they do end up having a lead in this map at the start, even then I feel like Velocity have the capability to turn it around in the next half as well. So it all comes down to how strong their organization, how strong their composition looks like on this map. Formation matters a lot in this map, just because of the fact that there's a lot of entry points, there's a lot of there's 3 different sides. The formation, the defensive fort that you're going to set up, it really matters a lot. And just the way you start against Velocity Gaming, I feel like it's going to pave the way for the rest of the series. Next up, we have Icebox, which is again Velocity's favorite once again. Aggressive, I'm not really sure what your opinions are going to be, but I see this as a clean 2-0 for Velocity.
Well, I would not. Okay, I would not deny your entire analysis as well. But what I feel as a Flamexserenity, we can't really forget the fact that Haven is also their home turf. Every single best of 3 they are the ones to pick up the map of Haven as well. So let's hope for a fact that Flamexserenity have something different against the side of Velocity Gaming, and let's see if they are going to be able to put up quite a performance. As you stated, they are going to be having that advantage as well, as they're starting off on the attack, and we know for a fact that Haven is an attacker side of map. So if Velocity Gaming are going to take it easy on their defense, then we do have a chance for the side of Flamexserenity to take the lead and possibly just steamroll the side of Velocity Gaming off guard. But before we jump in over towards the caster's desk, quick prediction time, guys. Aggressive. What are your predictions going to be for this best of three?
I'm honestly gonna say, considering the map pickups, it has to be a straight 2-0 going in favor of the side of Velocity, because map number 1 being Haven. Haven, a map where the side of Velocity already was dominating, and only they had trouble going up against the side of GE and True Rippers. And now they also have Deathmaker on their side, who is actually the king of Haven. Yeah, I think that Haven trying to pick up against them is going to be quite difficult, to say the least.
Yeah, but know this, Deathmaker is not playing today.
Yeah.
But, yeah, MW1 surely is. So
yeah, like both of them are there, dude.
Yeah,
Just
I mean, yeah, I understand. True that. But yeah, with that, Salty, what are your predictions?
I'm gonna play a good cop. I feel like 2-1. I'm gonna give Icebox to Flamexserenity.
All right, cool. Well, with that, there are your predictions, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to be quickly jumping into the game as well. I know for a fact that you guys are very excited for this one. So your casters for the day are going to be Aggressive and Salty. These guys are going to walk you through the entire game, and I'm going to be seeing you guys after the game as well, when we are going to be back with the analyst desk. You guys were watching the LG Ultragear Tec Gauntlet Season 2, powered by WD Black and AMD Ryzen Radeon. We're going to be right back with the casters desk in
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, on towards the caster test for the LG Ultragear Tec Gauntlet Season 2, powered by W Black and AMD Ryzen Radiant. We had to make that short dash on from the analyst over to the caster test, but it's going to be your boy Aggressive joined by Salty. And honestly, I'm really excited for this matchup when you consider the incredible gameplay that we're going to be seeing down here on today. So let's head on over to the map video screen one more time to see exactly where we're going to be headed for map number 1, because considering the map of Haven being the first initial pickup coming on down through from the teams, I'm really skeptical about how the side of Flamexserenity even plan to play out this entire matchup, because trying to play out the map of Haven against Velocity, it's going to be quite difficult considering the track record that they do have. And also the fact that MW1 and also Amaterasu are playing, it's even more difficult here.
Absolutely. I feel like the last time we saw Velocity play on this map against Team T69, it mostly was MW1 and Amaterasu popping off. Now, it wasn't just MW1 who was really terrorizing the opposition. For sure, he was. But Team T69, they tried to avoid MW1 and instead fell in the trap of Amaterasu and his flashes, right? I'm expecting something of similar sort. Now, since Assassin mentioned that both the teams have a similar home turf, I'm expecting them to have different setups. Because it's really interesting to see that both VLT and Flamexserenity have similar home turfs. And it's also very interesting to see that Flamexserenity have, I would say, the balls to pick up this map against a Goliath of a team. Of course, looking at the agent composition, of course, it's going to be really important. I'm expecting a similar comps right off the bat. Now, Andy has picked up the Cypher, which again is going to be a very crucial sentinel for the side of FXS. Now, you look at the entire lineup there, you have an Initiator, you have an Astra, of course, who is the best controller in this map. But on the other side, we have a Phoenix and a Jet as duelist. We have Somulal and Reaper as duelist on the side of FXS. So pretty much similar composition, isn't it, Aggressive? I mean, I feel like both the duelists are going to take a similar role. The Astras are going to have similar roles as well. It's just how the composition works as a unit and how they actually set up in both their attacking and defensive halves. What are your thoughts?
It's a little bit of a question mark in my eyes of why the side of Velocity did not pick up a double initiator composition like they normally do on this map. But at the same time, I kind of do understand what they're trying to play around with, and maybe going back and defaulting to the old meta strategies that we always do consider, being that Astra and that Killjoy. But considering all of the Killjoy nerfs, I do believe that they expect the side of Flamexserenity to be playing it safe, not going in for that breach. But consider something, when you have that breach on your roster, Flamexserenity, they could have easily just pounded through a lot of the defensive holes that the side of Haven can actually give to you. But at the same time, consider something, how many teams are actually playing the breach on Haven? Because now that breach is so goddamn powerful on every single map because of the amount of buffs that he has gotten. He can completely shut down not only a Cypher, he can shut down a Sage, he can shut down a Killjoy. There is nothing that man just can't do. So trying to learn him and play him constantly is now the new goal for a lot of these teams. And now that the new patch is also rolled out, a lot of the international teams are also doing the same. The breach is such a crucial pick. Or if you're not going in for that breach, at least pick up the Sky, because the double initiator composition is just that important.
I completely agree with you. I guess the Sky could have been a very important pick, especially in a bigger map. You want that information, you want that control, you want everything going your way initially. So I guess those intel gathering missions are going to be halted a little bit. But again, we need to find out how that's going to work out. And right at the bat, we can see that Team FXS, they move towards the B side. They have a drone that is carrying them forward, but MW1 all by himself, will he be able to defend? That's the question, Aggressive. What do you think?
Oh, this is gonna be quite difficult for him, but MW1, he has a perfect flag. He goes down. He's just not gonna find a second flag. But at the back end, Somulal is gonna be able to take down multiple more. 2 kills for him, 1 kill for the Jet. They're actually gonna be the ones to make it on happen. They have the positions, they know everything, but at the same time, Balkanizer.
Spike planted.
Flank MW1's not gonna be able to find out anything, and poor old right to Ace will be able to be the right plus that we know him to be and love here, Salty. It's gonna be quite difficult though, because 3 angry members of the side of Flamexserenity, he started off on the right foot. Oh, beautiful tap.
Oof. Love this. I absolutely love this. I mean, the way they butchered down the defense, FXS, it was brilliant. I believe VLT didn't really expect that fast push. MW1 was sort of overwhelmed on the B side, and I love the fact that instead of defaulting towards A or C corridors, this team started on a brave note and tried to hit the B side directly. Now, what do they do the second round? That will be a question, of course, because you want to carry on the momentum. You don't really want to give it in, and especially when you have investments in the form of utility, in the form of SMGs, you really want to make something out of it. Now, look at VLT. They're trying to huddle up all outside garage. They want to take as much kills as possible, but the ball is in the court of FXS. If they give away kills, that's not going to be good. The shorty. Wait, what? Darasu, that's criminal. But look at Team FXS just driving by right days. Mid. Getting 2 nice right clicks.
Oh god, he's gonna be the...
Oh my.
This is too close. Oh no, the timing is not favorable. He's on. Good night. Bye-bye. He's died. Barzal, he does get a gun for himself at the bare minimum, and so this is very much clutchable. Like, I think I spoke too soon for Salty. I think I cursed him just a little bit with the gravity well coming on down through from the side of Element. Good play from Flamexserenity, but at the same time a really expensive round. Then rushes to Garage on an eco round?
Yeah, right. I mean, I did expect them to kind of do something of that sort. Like, I expected them to rush B, but instead they do Garage. Now, for FXS, though, it was interesting that they didn't charge side. Instead of they take a longer route. In spite of having superior weaponry, they try and do something which is really out of the box. Now, just like I mentioned, it was a victory for VLT. Now they have those upgraded weapons and nothing really on the side of Team FXS to work with. Moving on ahead, look at Amaterasu connecting that spray down there. Early man advantage, but FXS are keen to move forward.
Yeah, they're just gonna be the ones to do it. MW1 just popping another head, and just as like, this is just casual VLT fashion of always losing out on the pistol rounds, but then coming in down strongly when it comes down to that first initial buy round. 2 players have already gone down, Shoal being at extremely low levels of HP. Right away, he's jiggling through from the side of A long, and he spotted out one of the heads. He can easily go in for the swing. He can easily go in for that peek. Take out Andy. Falconizer, last person remaining, but still the pixel perfect peaks coming on down through from the side. Right to Ace is just a little bit too good. Shoal going in for that swing. But Amaterasu, he has the better angle. He has the better crosshair placement. He's gonna be the one to take down the ring. With that, that's only 1 and 2 in the scorecards, ladies and gentlemen. Inside of Velocity, they bounce back with a flawless round. A flawless when you do consider that nearly, like, Amaterasu wouldn't have taken any points of damage. Like,
honestly aggressive. I mean, for sure in terms of scoreline, I would say VLT did bounce back, but they left in control right from the start. For sure, the first round, I was interested in what Flamexserenity did. They looked uncomfortable, but the second round, VLT were back in composure. Now look at this position now. I actually love this. I believe they are expecting another peak coming in from FXS, because most of the time they have ventured out that mid.
Oh, that is insane.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't call it luck, but yeah, if he peeks, he's basically dead. MW1 missed the shots. Rare side, aggressive. Press Alt F10, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, that's a pretty rare side indeed here. But at the same time, consider something. I really want to know, was that smoke coming on down through from Element, or was it a smoke from the side of Helif? The way he pulled back the star to block off vision coming from that drone. Absolutely incredible plays if it was actually Helif. But honestly, now moving on down over towards this side, it's gonna be the spike down. Right place, Barzo goes in for the swing as well, takes down Soulal. They were just not ready for this. No information whatsoever when they tried to go in for that execution down towards that A side. They tried to rush it, and they get immediately taken down here, Salty. It feels as though they're rushing down into the sites without getting any form of information on any sides of the map.
Yes.
They did this on round number 1, they did this on round number 2, and now that the side of Velocity have guns, like, what do you do here? You're just running around like a chicken with your head cut off.
I mean, All right, I mean, tough analogy there, but yeah, you mentioned the right thing, right? They haven't been able to thin out the defenses. Now, I do understand that they are using the drone. They are trying to make their presence felt in the mid avenues to try and possibly thin out the defenses on the A and the C side. But hitting the side without a lot of utility, hitting the side without any sort of information on who's there inside, it definitely is hurting them. Look at MW1 pushing forward. They know definitely
doesn't care.
that they expect FXS to push forward yet again, right? And they want to counter that right off the bat.
Yeah, they're just gonna keep on going for it. And MW1, just look at this man. He just does not care. He's just running up to well, also making his presence known and an easy kill for the side of MW1. Peeks out, gets the first initial shot, nearly gets in for a flick, lands it nearly, but at the same time, what do you do against the side of MW1? He pops another head. Falconizer is gonna be the one to get taken down, but Andy finally able to go in for that trade and stop the menace known as MW1 from terrorizing his entire team. Does get a gun for himself at the bare minimum, so this round is very much winnable, but at the same time, right to ace. He has something else to say about it. Easy get going for the 3 kills. If he's able to find 1, he's able to screen out 2.
Spike down A.
Reaper gets taken out as well, trying to go in for that trade. And he's gonna be the one to take him on down now, but Marzel, he has the phone number of Valdi, calls him up, hears that ringtone, and takes him back home immediately. 3-2 on the scorecard, ladies and gentlemen, for the side of Velocity. And they're on a pretty strong winning streak, for their end.
Right at the bat, VLT, they look damn strong. I mean, this definitely is typical VLT, but FXS, they really have to step up if they want to win more rounds against the side. Of course, they did win the first 2 because of some unexpected presence, but right now their strats definitely aren't really working. Their mid presence has been completely countered because MW1 has been pushing out that region way too much, and of course the mechanical superiority is there, so he basically guarantees those frags every time he tries to move out. Right now, there's always been the support coming in through right to ace. Look at his stats, of course, 10-3-1. And it isn't really right to ace to do something extraordinary. It's mostly like Team Flamex. They are just lining up for him most of the time because of the fact that they are spending way too much time in the mid avenue or in the A lobbies trying to make VLT double think. But VLT is so calm and composed. It's something which I was talking about, right? You go against the side, you play against a Goliath team on their home turf. You have to have set piece executes ready, because of course for VLT they've played this map so many times. They're not gonna double think something which you expect them to. Right, the defense, the composure, it's all set, it's stone cold, and breaking it is definitely going to be a big task.
Speaking of things that are going to be stone cold, I think that FW1, he's just going to peek it with this operator and maybe find a kill. It's not going to be able to get it, not just yet, because I think that Flamexserenity, they're up to the shenanigans that could just get pulled up by their end, but right to ace, he's just ready for it. He's going to be able to get one tag, probably get another kill. He's just not going to be able to find it though, but at the same time, Amaterasu, he's just ready for it. And with MW1 also giving the backup here, Amaterasu, he shouldn't be any form of danger, but at the same time, Amaterasu, yeah, I think that his Sharingan's already detecting all that danger, but he still just wants to go in for it. Bobbin and Reedon. It is going to be Falconizer though, trying to go in for that first initial shot. He knows for a fact that right to ace is there, but just a better Sova this time around going in for the jiggles. Right to ace. Stop! This is not how you terrorize them, my man. From the side of Garage without even Odin or an Ares, this guy with a Phantom, he's just shutting them all down. And I know for a fact that you love the Odin and the Ares, man. That's why I wanted to make them.
Yeah, right. I mean, that is the reason why we both match together. But I feel like the fact that FXS, they are taking a dry peaks and challenging VLTs to 1v1. Yeah, it's sort of is dangerous for them in the long run. But right now, 9 HP to work with. Andy. Oh,
yeah, like what is he doing? Like, come on, MW1.
There's no way you're gonna survive, right? And they've done this time and time again, the Sova and the Jet combo. You look at this. I remember that one frag where the drone was coming in and the Reyna was mostly focused on the drone, and MW1 he was just standing right beside him and he didn't even check that angle. So Mulal was the one who was taken off in that fight. But yeah, I mean, Velocity, they look damn strong in this one. And just like you mentioned, I mean, these two teams, for sure, it seems like Flamex, they need to step up if they want to challenge VLT at this point.
Yeah, they need to go in fast and they need to go in hard because they're losing out on rounds so quickly that if they're not careful here, they're just gonna be facing a pretty bad situation. But at the same time, look at this hard rush coming on down through. Marcel, he kept on going for the spray with that Vandal. He lost control. He was just not able to find it. But it's now Rasu. 2 kills with the hot hands, and he gets another hot hand as well. He's like, oh, I have a volley. I have a second volley as well. I'm gonna throw it out, and I'm gonna make sure they're gonna invert to a crit. It's gonna be Hella getting another kill for himself, going in for that spray. Rasu just whip out a couple of shots. Element instead, he's gonna be the one to take him on down out. But still, it's a 2 versus 3 situation. Not really a lot of info. You just see one more kill, but right to Ace's jiggle is just too good. Goes in for that swing. Goes in for a 1 tap to the head of Jolal. There is nowhere to run. There is nowhere to hide. Especially when right to Ace is going to be the one to hunt you down. 5-2 on the scorecards, ladies and gentlemen, for the side of Velocity. Beautifully done from their end. A little bit of a rocky start, but at the end, though, Salty, I think they performed that.
The number of kills that Right to Ace has through the woodworks is actually insane. I mean,
just hold on, man.
You're right. You talked about the Sharingan. You talked about the Sharingan just now, and I feel like, yeah, he has one of his own. He probably has a Rinnegan as well.
No, he stole it from one of us. Like, you know how, he like...
Okay,
like,
makes sense. Makes sense. I mean...
Because yeah, I think
I honestly love this thing that Flamexserenity, they've been trying to pull off something different. They're trying to be unorthodox. They're trying to be fast in terms of their executes. This thing which really caught the VLT off guard. And right now, this is really working out because 3 players from the side of VLT have been terrorized with that fast execute. Now, this is something you do against a Goliath team. You try and be as unpredictable as possible. You cannot challenge them back to a methodical 1v1 or methodical 5v5. You probably have to keep them guessing, keep them on their toes, and that is exactly what they're doing right now. The reading is going to be difficult. MW1 on top of the smoke. Beautiful, beautiful daggers out there. Information is going to be out, but right to Ace through the woodworks here again. MW1 failing on the daggers this time around. Right to Ace.
Oh, right to clutch.
Right to clutch, I guess it's his moment. He's been tagged. No information. 3 bullets in the chamber. Too much to ask for. Andy nails the final nail in the coffin. 3 rounds on the board for Flamex. Not a respectable, not a very bad scoreline, honestly aggressive, but the way they've played, yeah, that's a little sketchy. But consider this. If they keep up this fast-paced ante and survive the attacking side, and I'm just praying they have a good defense, they possibly can challenge VLT.
It's gonna be a difficult one to say the very least, because Flamex, they're going in for rushes and they're trying to brute force their way through the side of Velocity. The once they understand this, they can just go in for it. About Madarasu. Hello? No need to use the flash. No need to use your abilities. Just swing a corner and kill them. Madarasu's like, oh, you take that round away from me? Are you gonna kill me here on towards the side of garage? I'm gonna show you exactly what I can do. I don't need a flash. I don't need an ultimate. I don't even need a hot hands, for God's sake. I'm just gonna swing the corner and just pop you in the forehead. Sure, go ahead, go ahead. I like, just come on. Why even play the game anymore with utility when you are that cracked down with your game?
True that, but honestly, I feel like somebody who's trapped right now is probably Team Flamex, because most of the time they've been censored in this lobby, right? You look at them; they are trying to make maneuvers in different avenues. They're trying to pull off different executes, but most of the time most of the executes have failed. They're yet to establish or yet to show that confidence of taking up sites, right? Their B rushes and their garage pushes have been working out a little bit, but their A and C pushes haven't been doing that, haven't been performing the same way. So
going Astro, guys.
I mean, you consider that most of their A and C, which are the defaults, right? Those are failing. The team is completely pincered in a place where MW1 is wrapping you from the A corridor. Maybe Amaterasu or Hellef is wrapping you from the C corridor. You basically have nowhere to go. Amaterasu yet again. The run and back finally has been stopped, but can you stop MW1? No.
Yeah, like, what do you do here? MW1 just tears you down piece by piece with his own operator. And he's just chilling, he's just vibing, he's just taking down one side, and the amount of pressure that the side of Velocity is just flying here. Like, what do you do exactly? Here's all.
You look at this. there certainly is so much pressure. There is a garage push coming through. There is an A push coming through as well. You haven't been able to gather any real estate whatsoever. You're basically pincered from both the sides in your lobby, and you're just trying to make a maneuver. It just doesn't work that way because you are, just like you mentioned, that's the key word. You have to be pressured from the C side. You have to be completely wrapped around like a boa constrictor. You don't breathe at that point. You're out of breath.
Yeah, like Shomulal, I have no idea what he was trying to employ, and I think that this amount of pressure is getting to them. Just like a hydraulic press, like they're cranking up the pressure slowly but surely, and it feels as though the side of Flamexserenity, they're cracking under that level of pressure. Amaterasu just chilling around the corner, pops the first initial head. And he just knows what to do. Throws in a flash, he can throw in a second, he can just chill, he can just vibe. Easily go in for a couple of kills, and Amaterasu, he's just gonna go in for it. He does not care. He wants to go in for that swing, and this guy, he just stop for a second. Like, what do you do here? Flamexserenity, they can't even read the man. He's literally playing deathmatch out here while Flamexserenity just sweating bullets.
I don't know, honestly. But yeah, you look at this, right? Flamexserenity, every time they try and gather some real estate, every time they try and get some sort of map control, they get absolutely butchered down, right? You asked what the Reyna did over there. He was desperate to get some map control in the A corridor, right? Again, without utility, without flashes coming through, it was certainly difficult. And MW1 in that weird spot where Reyna didn't really expect. I completely understand him getting caught off guard, but I mean, the same thing happens over and over again, right? They try and gather real estate, they try and push up garage, there's Amaterasu, they try and push up A corridor, there's MW1, they try and push up C, there's LF, there's literally everybody there, and this is their final possibility right now. LF through the smoke gets the Reaper, Somuna gets a trade for sure. But a 4v4 right now, and look at where MW1 already is. Locked on comes through. This is going to deny the B push, and as soon as they're going to try and hit the C side, or top possibly the A side, there's right to ace in the A side, and MW1 on the B side. Where do you go? Where on earth did you go? You try and peek, you try and dry peek these guys, they're going to terrorize you down every single time.
How is he winning these fights? Amaterasu, stop! He's having such a good day, getting kill after kill, round after round, just on his own back. He doesn't need to do anything. Has to run it back as well. And Falconizer, he's so scared. He doesn't want to swing this corner. He knows for a fact what's waiting for him on the other side. 3 angry players on the side of Velocity. One holding with an operator. One with a rifle that's literally acting like an operator. But at the same time, MW1, he tries to go in for a move. He tries to go in for a peek. But Amaterasu, what is he on? What is he doing? What is that reaction time?
What is he on?
Man,
Switching sides.
it's just something else.
Yeah. I mean, VLT is cracked at this point, 9-3, a half, which was really, really difficult for Flamexserenity to say the very least. I mean, for sure, they did get 3 rounds. The 3 rounds were impressive, to say the very least. But apart from that, they looked very, very shaky. I mean, look at this. There literally was no competition whatsoever. For sure, there were trades coming through. For sure, kills were coming through. But in spite of everything, in spite of trying out different avenues, they haven't been able to get any sort of map control. They have been denied every single right, every single region of real estate. Now, I want to see what VLT can do in their attacking half right now. The defense looks kind of different, honestly, because Arena and the Jet, they're actually pushing out. Nobody checks Andy. One headshot, perfect. Picks up the frenzy and repositions himself. Another one, Basil being taken down. But again, Amaterasu, this guy is absolutely insane. Shomunal from the backlines, good stuff from FXS, but the pistol rounds, anything can happen. Right, Trace is still alive.
Oh, what?
This is one of the snappiest. Aim transfers that I've seen.
It's a little bit of a Soti Baka moment, but sure, that can work out in your favor. Towards back end though, Wallace on a perfect flank. Spots out the side of right to ace. He's gonna be the one to take him on down out, but still Amaterasu, he's still kicking and he's still ready. And consider something here, Salty. He still has his flash in his hand. He's playing it super aggressively. Knows for a fact that Shomunal's right there on the corner and goes in for that flash. Shomunal knows exactly where he's gonna be peeking. Dodges out the flash, goes in for that re-swing, and just spams out the corner. Does get hit in the head, and poor old Amaterasu, he's just hanging out. He's just chilling. He's just vibing.
He's chilling, he's vibing.
Yeah, he's just vibing, bro. Just look at it. He actually is vibing.
Dude, this is a rope that comes in from the skies. It's literally you being hanged to death by God himself.
Dude, he's just hanging out.
He's just hanging out with friends, hanging out. Okay, all right, I get it. I get it. 9-4 the scoreline, ladies and gentlemen, and already we can see Flamexserenity can they come back. We did get to see them win the SMG round as well, following up their victory in the pistol round in the first half. So anything is possible, but we can see a force buy from VLT right now, and which basically means there can be a lot of challenges. Now, I think they did this earlier, and they suffer. Reaper gets one frag at the very least, but that's about it. This defense has been completely crumbled right now. Falcon Eyes are being completely terrorized over the element. Get the trade on the MW1, but that's about it. 3v2. Anything can possibly happen. VLT already have the lead right now, aggressive.
Yeah, this force buy just caught the entirety of Flamexserenity off guard. They were just not expecting it. They were just not ready for it. Andy?
Why?
That was a desperation move that I've ever seen. Well, like, that is the most desperate play that I've seen anyone ever do. Like, what? I think Andy was like, oh, I'm just gonna get a kill onto right away. There's gonna be no one under hell. There's no way that's gonna happen. And then suddenly he's like, oh no. Oh no, I think I just did the most stupidest thing that I could have ever done.
Oh my goodness. Goodness me, I mean, trust me. VLT gambling on buying weapons in the second half in spite of losing the pistol round, and it actually did pay off right now because on the side of Team FXS, they are reduced to a bunch of pistols at the moment, and VLT, they have all the money in the world.
Yeah, at this stage, how much more can you do?
I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, aggressive, but do you think like FXS, they're not really using a lot of utility to, I mean, any extent? The Astra had four stars over there for the side of Team Flamexserenity, but Anna decides to jump in, try.
Yeah, I don't know,
My
man.
camera is destroyed.
At this stage, how much more can you do here? OMW1, maybe a little bit too aggressive. Just pay the ultimate price for it with his own life, and I think, Salty, you got your wish. They're going hard now.
Yeah, for sure, but also you also have to consider there's VLT. This is a bonus round for them. Look at Munal. My boy had to run into the face. Shock darts coming through, but Flamexserenity, even this round was clutched out, right? Even this round was clutched out. They try and be very ambitious in terms of their pushes. Now, sometimes it does work when VLT takes effort away from the gas. They think they take Flamexserenity a little too easy. They try and push in vanilla, and that doesn't really work out, right? Instantly, they shift gears. Instantly, they switch things, and Marzilla's already there in the back lines. There's Amaterasu and Right to Ace as well, and I love Right to Ace for this reason. In spite of what happens in the team, in spite of the duelists and initiators pushing in, he's always there. He's always there in the back lines, trying to hold the team together.
My god.
Nice frag.
Like this guy's finally getting the revenge kills that he wanted to get. Like, Amaterasu absolutely terrorized them on the side of side of defense, sorry. And now they're gonna be the ones to terrorize him. Beautiful movement coming on down through from the side of MW1 to dodge out the shots from the side of Element. But he needs to go in for that swing. Maybe if he gets his skill, things are gonna be opening up. He's looking for one more. Goes in for that dig. He's actually gonna be able to get more on the radar. He's actually gonna be able to get that kill as well. What is he doing now? I feel as though, like, to get the revenge kill for his buddy Amaterasu, MW1, he just activated himself. 4K for the side of MW1, ladies and gentlemen. Single-handedly entering down over towards that B side and just tearing them down systematically piece by piece. That's just MW1 for you.
VLT, they're in a hurry to finish this. It seems like they've got to catch a train. Where are they going? Top of the table.
Yeah.
Was that a good poem, aggressive? Was that a good poem? I tried hard. Was that a good poem, ladies and gentlemen? Please support Salty in the chat, please.
I think that we need to, like, I remember the other day you were like, end Crips. I want a Reddit thread out of it. I want an end Salty one as well now. I kind of was cringe as well from my end when I made that hanging out joke, but at the same time I think that we balance each other out. So you're gonna be fine here, don't worry about it, Salty. But on towards the back end though, I don't think that the side of Velocity are going to be fine because they got the early man advantage with MW1 getting those first 2 kills, but they're slowly dying on out themselves as well. Still, the C-side control is going to be in their favor, but they're getting pincered from multiple different angles, and they need to be very careful here. On towards the back end is one, and this first initial kill from the side of Hellfighter could just open everything up if they do play their cards properly. Hellfighter, if this is out on that shot, it's not going to be open. This is going to hurt them a lot. Marcel versus the entire world. He's going to be good for one. He's going to be able to take on the other. Picks up that Guardian. He can easily go in for that swing and go in for a one-tap. This is perfect for him. He can easily keep this for himself. Goes in for the first initial shot. He's going to be able to hit that jiggle. 3 bullets and a dream. One body shot to end it all off. Ladies and gentlemen, it's going to be Marcel ending it all off with a classic right click to the body to end things in such a beautiful fashion. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the side of Velocity for you. 12 and well, it was a 12 and 4. Now it's gonna be a 13 and 4 as well. Like Velocity, what are they doing? Even though the routes are looking to go in the favor of the side of Flamexserenity, look at how they're winning everything out. The level of coordination, the level of team play, the level of game plans that they have on their arsenal is just absolutely incredible. And as we do head on down over towards the match highlights, ladies and gentlemen, we can break everything down from a bird's eye view. And Salty, I really want to know your thoughts. Because at the start, I felt as the Flamexserenity, they had a chance, but as soon as that Byron kicked in, it felt as though a fire was ignited inside of Velocity.
I mean, yeah, for sure. Like you look at the rounds which Flamexserenity did win, right? Most of them were those vanilla pushes. Most of them were those aggressive, unorthodox playstyles, which we didn't really expect, right? And there's nothing wrong in it. And sometimes it does work, but just like I mentioned, you cannot condition a team to unorthodox plays because then it becomes orthodox and then becomes readable. And again, most of the strats didn't really work out. I didn't even feel FXS had strats in their attacking side or in the defensive side for that matter. I felt like the defensive side was a little bit better than the attacking half, but in their attacking side, they were assaulted. They were assaulted bad. I mean, every single avenue which they try and explore, they were being hunted down like, I don't know. It was hurtful, honestly, to watch. But again, I love the fact that they were still getting those picks. I love the fact that they were still getting those trades, and that is the important part. I feel like they do have places that they can improve, of course. But we talked about this during the cast as well, isn't it? Aggressive. Most of the time, they were trying to gather some real estate. Most of the time, they were trying to gather some sort of information. In that process, they were losing that manpower, as a result of which they were being discouraged to venture out in the A corridor or the C corridor. They had to pinch down in that lobby area where they were being pushed from all different angles. What do you do at that point? You basically do nothing because Amaterasu was flashing and pulling off some dirty moves. Right to Waste was lining up some fabulous kills as well, and of course MW1. So, like, what do you do in those situations? Nothing.
Yeah, I believe that Ryzen is at Amaterasu. They had a little bit of a bet in the background, being like, who's going to be the one to get a lot more kills here? Right to Ace, we got that support player, got 16 and 5, by the way, right at the very start. And then Amaterasu came around the corner and he's like, man, let me get a couple of kills as well. I'll show you exactly how it's done. Sit back, relax. And he just kept on swinging, dude. He didn't use a flash. He didn't use a flame wall. Forget about the hot hands because he got the double hot hand skill right at the very beginning. And then he's like, nah, I don't need my abilities. Like, what is this Q ability? What is this pop flash? Why am I snapping my finger? I'm gonna Thanos snap them out of existence instead of flashing them in the face. That's how incredible the confidence coming on down through from the side of Velocity was. And that's one of the prime reasons why they were able to win this one here, Salty, because confidence matters a lot. And when you consider the side of Flamexserenity, they had no confidence. They were second guessing when they were trying to peek angles. And I do believe that Element was the only one who had a lot of confidence in his own aim to try and take those engagements. But everyone else, they were literally just running around thinking that I don't want to take this fight. I just want to back off. I want to regroup. It just did not happen. But for now, ladies and gentlemen, that was a very quick map number 1. But really hoping that the side of Flamexserenity can pull off a miracle as we do head on down over on to map number 2. We're going to be setting everything up down there, but we'll be back with you real shortly with the LG Ultragear TC Gauntlet Season 2, powered by W Black and AMD Ryzen Radiant. We'll catch you in just a little bit. And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. I told you it's going to be a short break as we are back with the Ultragear Tec Gauntlet Season 2, powered by WD Black and AMD Ryzen Radiant. So let's head on down over to the map video screen one more time and see exactly where we're going to be headed here. And it's going to be the map of Icebox. And yeah, Salty. Especially after map number 1 being a 13-4, I don't know how I feel about Icebox, especially when you consider the analytics, Flamexserenity. They don't have a lot of wins here.
It was actually a hot beating from Velocity on Team Flamexserenity on the map of Haven. So I guess Icebox being a little cool, it might work out. But look at the composition. Look at the composition. Falcon. He still is hovering over the Viper now. Viper is a staple on this map. Of course, no surprise over there. Element picking up the Sova. Sage is there on Andy Reaper, and Somunal playing the default duelists. Of course, on the side of Team VLT, I'm expecting Helef to pick up the Viper role. Amtras already has Sage locked in. Marzil and MW1 might pick up the default duelist role as well, and right to Ace on Sova. So no surprises there as well. I mean, there's got to be similar compositions, but we have seen so much difference in the playing styles aggressive that I mean, you can write a book about it. I mean, if you try and elaborate all the playing style differences, but I'm really expecting a good showing from FXS in this one, because of course,
Choose your
with a
agent.
composition like this, you have a lot of this. Again, it is a default composition. You have a lot of things that you can do on this map, honestly.
Yeah, when you do consider the amount of possibilities on Icebox, you can do a lot, but at the same time, you really do want to question what exactly is the plan and the ideologies coming on down through from both of these teams. When you consider the Viper, it's kind of one-dimensional playstyle. You know what to expect. You know why the stage is there
Yeah.
as well. Because without the sage wall, trying to go in for a plant, especially on this map, is extremely difficult. And same goes for the map of Breeze in particular as well. You need that sage. You need to have that wall. Otherwise, trying to go in for different types of engagements, yeah, it's nearly impossible. You're literally going to die out just to spam if you're not careful. But coming on down through for the duelist pickups, I would say I personally prefer a single duelist composition with only Jet being the primary star, because the Jet can off, the Jet can entry, the Jet can literally do anything that you want her to do. And she's going to be able to be versatile. But on the other hand, Icebox is a map where it's pretty duelist heavy. If your duelist dies out, then you have no way of entering down into a side. That's how difficult it can be. So in this process, you need to have a double initiator composition if you choose it. Let's say you leave out a Killjoy, the possibility of a double sentinel is not going to be on the cards. You pick up that one sentinel being that sage, and then you go in for a double initiator. The other route that you can take, a lot more of a slower and much more control-based playstyle, is actually taking a double sentinel composition, which relies on you to be a lot more proficient in the way that you enter down multiple different sides. You need to systematically break down every single corner and then go in for that engagement, because you do need to remember you only have that one singular initiator, which is really difficult for you to get a lot of plays out of. And the trade-off here would be if you went in for no initiator or no sentinel in comparison to outside of that sage, I mean, you have a double duelist, you have a Sova, but you don't have a sentinel to try and pick up a lot of these fights and a lot of these different engagements. It can be difficult when you consider the amount of ideologies and a lot of the plans that a lot of these teams can go for. But at the same time, ladies and gentlemen, when you consider the maps, it's going to be quite difficult to say the very least of what strategies could be employed by these teams. But for now, I do believe there are a couple of technical difficulties coming on down through from the teams. But don't worry, ladies and gentlemen, as we are going to be waiting it all out. Make sure to check all the links down below in the description and get yourself that next big goblet that you're looking for. And you also saw the QR code that showed up here. It's going to be showing up soon as well. Once again, get yourself energized, get yourself a can of Red Bull, because we're going to be in a long run for sure if the side of Flamexserenity are able to win this one. But we'll be back with the real shortly with the Ultragear TC Gauntlet Season 2, powered by WD Black and AMD Ryzen Radiant. We'll catch you in just a little bit. And we are back, ladies and gentlemen, with the LG Ultragear Tec Gauntlet Season 2, powered by W Black and AMD Ryzen Radeon. A little bit of a technical difficulty did go on through from the side of Velocity, but hey, we sorted everything out and the players are now back and they are ready to tear up the entire server, ladies and gentlemen. So let's see what we can expect coming on down through from the teams here, ladies and gentlemen, because now could be a little bit more interesting to say the very least of what kind of strategies they are going to be employing this time around. Because now that Vipor is here, things could be a lot more spicy, don't you think, so Salty?
Absolutely. I feel like the fact that Vibor has been subbed in for Helef is pretty interesting because right now, of course, they fill in similar roles. They play the similar roles in the team, but the playing styles is a little bit different. Helef is a little too aggressive in that way, but similar compositions on the side of Team VLT right now. Amaterasu on the Sage, Marzel on KJ, Right Twist on the Sova, MW1 on Jet, Vibor on the Viper. I want to see what did Flamex pick up. Pretty similar apart from the fact that they have a double duelist setup. We don't have a double duelist setup on the side of VLT team. Flamexserenity, they have a double duelist setup in the form of a Jet and the Arena, which basically makes it interesting because we also saw them in run a double duelist setup in the first map and it didn't really quite work out. So I'm interested to see what they can possibly try and do in Icebox as well. I expect them to try and go forward for their multiple pushes kind of a thing, possibly explore different avenues at the same time and gather some map control, because that is something which they were really lacking in the first game, but not really sure if Velocity is going to allow them any space.
Side of Flamexserenity, they have gone for much more of the Sentinels, like Sentinel, the Team Sentinels based composition. This is a composition that they normally do always pick up, but they themselves have also shifted down over towards a double initiator or a double sentinel composition, depending on the teams that they do go up against. So I do believe that this is much more of a comfortable strategy for them. They can easily run down over onto multiple different sidelines. They can take those gunfights and use their raw aim capabilities to be the thing that carries them forward throughout this entire matchup. But at the same time here, Salty, when you consider their confidence levels of what happened in map number 1, like, will that carry over onto map number 2? That's going to be the real question here. Are they going to falter under the pressure, or are they actually going to be the ones to possibly go into something a little bit more different?
I have no clue, honestly. I have no clue because I really want them to I really want them to turn things around, honestly, because if you remember correctly, I said that I really want Flamexserenity to win the map of Icebox. Now, winning is really difficult considering what we did see in the map of Haven, because you look at this, right? Like, they were not being able to fight against Team Velocity even by any stretch of the means, right? They try and barge into sides. That sometimes works, but most of the time it just gets faltered. And not a single round aggressive, not a single round actually went on to a 1v1. I mean, for sure it did go in the ones where I guess it was one round where Marzel did win a 1v1 in the final round. But apart from that, it wasn't really the case for the side of Team Flamexserenity. They were really struggling to get frags. They were really struggling to get everything in order to win the game. So not really sure again.
Yeah, let's just see what we can expect here, because Icebox is a map based upon strategy. You don't really need to purely rely on your gunfights. There's a lot of different avenues that you can go for, especially when you consider the mid executions. I still remember during the Enigma game that we saw a lot of incredible lineups coming on down through from the side of Batman that absolutely blowed my mind. Like, Wayne was literally... like, Wayne never gets excited about a lot of different strategies, but at the same time, the strats that the side of Enigma pulled off that day was incredible. And will the side of Velocity pull off the exact same, or are they going to keep their cards close to their heart and not showcase any of it? That's going to be the real question here. Velocity, they have a lot of secret strategies that they can employ on this map in particular. But at the same time, they're a team that rarely ever showcase their full arsenal unless they need it in a dire situation.
Absolutely. Again, we kick things off with Velocity Gaming on the attacking half, and right off the bat, we can see that there is a Viper Toxin screen setup from Falcon. He really wants to stop this be aggressive push coming in through, but there is a reverse screen as well coming in through from Team VLT. Flamex is going to be difficult for them to control this aggression. Thankfully, there are two players in the form of Somunal as well as Falcon. Can they hold this team back? That's the question. Amaterasu already trying to gather real estate. Falcon has a juggle around the yellow. Thankfully, they did get a 1v1 trade over there, but a 4v4 is going to be very difficult for them aggressive.
Is that wall placed down properly? Can he even go in for a plant? I don't think so. They did. Oh no, the wall was not placed out properly, and now they don't even have a stage wall to try and go in for this engagement. It's about wraparound play. They need to go down over towards the other side then, and I do believe that Marzel is holding on down from the angle from it, trying to see if he can get that first initial pick off, get that first initial player. He's just chilling, he's just vibing, but at the same time, he can easily go in for the skill as well. But Marzel, he's getting a little bit too impatient. He could just go into the waiting on from the side of Element, and he gets taken in the process as well, gets tagged down to literally 1 HP, and they need to go in for this engagement. They need to try and go in for this fight, and MW1, he's gonna be the first one to go in for that kill against the side of Somulal.
Spike planted.
As well, and with this, it's gonna be getting on down over onto a 4 versus 3 situation. Marcel on extremely low levels of HP, but it's completely fine because of Amaterasu. He has his bag. The wall's gonna be up. The positions are just gonna be strong, but at the same time, going in for this retake here, Salty, yeah, it's gonna be absolutely impossible.
It should be.
Maybe not.
It should be. If not for these
Okay.
two frags, Andy
standing.
takes a third one. We're right to Ace. Really survives with their 20 HP, barely breathing when Marcel comes in to rescue. Element has been shut down as well. VLT win the first round, win the first pistol round, which we didn't really see in the map of Haven. Both the pistol rounds were in favor of Team Flamexserenity. That's some good stuff for them. That's improvement already. And they didn't even need improvement. So that's added trouble, honestly, for Team Flamex. At this point, VLT, they just want to buy SMGs and probably get the second round on board as well. They want to have all the momentum in the world, but the B push, I love the fact that Andy from Team Flamex used that wall to deny the plant. But in spite of that, it did buy him some time. But reconnaissance, there was no reinforcements coming through. Falcon, very aggressive, right clicks one player. Yet MW1 has been taken down, but Amaterasu pulls out the trade. One important play taking down aggressive. This can be big.
Honestly, like, when I consider the classic right clicks, my man, I always get amazed when a person gets a double dig in the face with that classic right click, because it literally feels like a person is taking off their shoe and then slapping you in the face with it, just as the side of Shulal just pulled off. He was gonna be the one to take down Amaterasu. That is gonna be forcing it down the engagement over onto a 3 versus 4 situation, but at the same time, it's not a good engagement here because they were just not able to pick up those guns and right to ace. He nearly got the right to ace, but instead he's gonna be the right to a 3k instead. 0 and 2 on the scorecards, and with the Singularity Black Hole sucking all the particles away from the side of their opposition, not leaving a single trace here on the battlefield. A little bit of a rough start, but at the same time, I would say a really good eco as well from the side of Flamexserenity. Don't you think so, Sophie?
Yeah, true that. Right to ace, he really has a tendency to line up his kills, doesn't he? I mean, he did in the first game quite a lot in this map. Yeah. He's been doing the same thing.
He's a silver main, dude. He went to those geometry classes, and not only is he able to line up the shock turrets, but he's also able to line up the they teach a lot in school.
Play Valorant. Absolutely. MW1 on the high ground. Andy already opening things up. Gets pivot, heals himself up as well. A 4v5. Things can be difficult. They do have the upgraded weapons. Falcon. The Phantom Spray comes through. Really struggled over there, but thankfully a 2k for him before right away shots him down with a shock dart. Lovely stuff over there, but Andy comes to the rescue at this point. 2v3. But we know VLT can turn this around.
Yes, slowly but surely. 2 versus 4. On the map here, ladies and gentlemen, Marzel and MW1, it's all about that first initial kill. Whoever gets this is going to be the one to win everything out. MW1 slowly but surely sneaking his way now forward, probably spotting out the side of Andy. Andy takes a back seat here. Now they should be able to go in for the plant if MW1 is able to go in for that swing and get this kill. I don't think that the Raider's going to be expecting it, but he actually does. Jumlon's going to be the one to take down MW1. Beautifully done from his end. Marcel's going to be able to pick up a gun, but that's pretty much it. I think this round is done and dusted. There should be no way that Marcel should be able to go in for this plan unless the Reyna gets a little bit too impatient and goes in for rotation a little bit too early. It's all up to the Reyna to hold out this position properly. Ego Vandal in hand. Will he be able to do much here, though? It's the real question. Marcel gonna try and go in for that swing, but the shot just not gonna be connected. Marcel! He walks across the crosshair of the radar, and he gets taken out in the process. Reaper making a run down, probably gonna get killed out in the process as well. Goes in for that swing. Marcel should be able to find it, but Marcel wins the last few bullets. Instead, it's gonna be Reaper being able to slap one into the forehead of Marcel. A little bit too close for comfort, but at the same time, Salty, hey, if it works, it works. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
True that, absolutely. I mean, Team Flamexserenity, they had to work really hard to get this victory, right? Love the fact that Andy brought the first pick, right? He was there to his team's rescue as well. Falcon got a lovely 2K, but imagine this was just a third round, and VLT, they were just having a bonus round. I mean, right now you look at Team Flamex and they basically have a bunch of light shields and guardians to work with, but VLT, they have a bank for themselves as well as full shields and a very comfortable buy. So consider this, Flamex had to work that hard in a bonus round to get a victory. It certainly is going to be difficult for them to win this round, but anything can happen, honestly. I'm already loving the defensive setup because the players are kicking in. Just like you mentioned, confidence is the key, right? And right now, Flamex, it seems like they are confident. MW1, of course, is a different nut to crack. Marcel gets the first one. Jonah being completely blocked out of sight. This is going to be difficult for him.
There is no way to go in for this entry, man. How are they gonna be the ones to go in for this? Right to Ace playing it a little bit too cheeky. They can actually spot him out if he can shoot crouches. He needs to be super careful. But Falconize runs towards the back. It's gonna be the one to take down Vivo right to Gates. Right to Ace. It's gonna be taking out one, but at the same time, he does get traded on almost initially. And with that, that was just a flash cleanup duty. Amaterasu gets 1 kill, MW gets 1, and simultaneously the entire site gets cleared out. And Velocity, they take it all away. Their buy-on was a success.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the backstab did come through from the side of Falcon. He did get the better of Vivor as well, but the fact that Somunal as well as Reaper, they gave them the space to the opposition, the respect as well to plant the spike and get to post one position. For sure, I mean, you give the opposition space because of course 4 or 5 players Valorant can't possibly do a lot over there, but the fact that they give them space to get to post one positions as well and get to and set up crossfires as well. That was insane, but look at this though, 3 players pushing through Vibor. No backstab might be there, but Somunal taps his head away. Good stuff. But MW1 as well as Amaterasu, they have already made his way in, and Reaper has been pushed out. Marcel knows exactly where the players are going to come from. MW1 and Marcel, they're really kicking things in. 3 players survive, or rather stay alive at this point, but VLT, they are good to go at this point aggressive. What do you think? I don't think there's any chance this retake is happening, especially with Pistols.
Yeah, it's gonna be quite difficult unless someone makes a very massive mistake here. There's no way they should be the ones to lose everything out here. He's gonna be good for 1, he's gonna be good for 2. And now he just needs to find his twin brother. Where is his twin brother? He's just Tarzaning around. He wants to go in for this kill. And yeah, he spots out his twin brother and be like, I'm the real Sova, you're the fake one. Take a back seat, go back to your spawn. This is my world, and I'm gonna be the one that...
Real Sova, fake Sova. Interesting.
Conspiracy Theory 101 with Salty.
Yeah. We're gonna start a podcast. Name it Cringe Salty Talks.
I think we went a little bit too far at the chat as well as this process, but it's fine. I still love you, Salty, don't worry. Even after that. Like, I wanted to make that joke and we were gonna move on from it, but that went to another different level.
That went to a whole different dimension, but this is good stuff. MW1, look at the way he's forcing his way forward. Amaterasu. It's like he's Daya from CID, breaks apart the door and slaps the guy. Nice reference, wasn't it?
Yes, perfect reference. I actually vibe with that, dude. I actually make that reference so often. But if Buster was here, that would have been the perfect reference from the side of Team Gauntlet. But moving on down the line, though, over onto this match. Oh boy, wait, what? Limit? How did you even spot out about Amaterasu? What was that shot? What?
That was a jet bang. Not a wall bang, but a jet bang through the jet. But nonetheless, MW1 in Kitchens. A 2v2 situation. Anything can possibly happen, but Falcon being a bit too ambitious in Reaper possibly can't do anything over there with 11 HP. I mean, Flamex, I guess the fact that they're giving VLT the space, or if not they're giving VLT, the fact that they are brute forcing their way into site with no real repercussions from Flamex has really hurt them, right? Because the retakes aren't coming through. Even if the kills are coming through aggressive, the retake in terms of position as well as real estate, that is not coming through for Team Flamex. They haven't been able to get close to the spike. For sure, they're getting trades in the process, but are they getting close to the spike? Are they getting even a tap on it to defuse it? Not really, because there's always Marzel, there's always Right to Ace, there's always MW1 who is getting all those frags for them, right? And the fact that Flamexserenity are letting things go down that line shouldn't really be happening. I feel like if not anything, they really should try and stop VLT on their tracks right when they start pushing in. Look at this though, from all different angles, Marzel, Vibor, MW1, they try and start their ascent. So Munal, a very aggressive position, but it will be forced out because of the lockdown.
And considering the positions that they're actually holding, this is pretty good to say the very least. But Amaterasu is not taking. Oh my god! Amaterasu
is detained.
Heads all over the place. Element's not gonna get taken out here because there is no way that Amaterasu can push that entire length and be able to go in for that shot. But at the same time, ladies and gentlemen, Amaterasu, he activated his Sussy Baka movement, but at the same time, yeah, it's gonna work out in favor of the side of Velocity. They just were able to turn it all up and just take it all away. But at the same time, 1-6 on the scorecards, ladies and gentlemen. What just happened? And Amaterasu, is your wrist okay? Do I need to call a doctor? Like, don't worry, I can literally call a doctor for you right here.
When the stream ends, I'm gonna ask you what exactly do you mean by Sussy Baka movement, but let this pass. I really don't want to torture the audience. 1-6 the scoreline, ladies and gentlemen, and you can already see Flamex. They really want to put all their eggs in one basket, and that's a mid push. 3 players as well as a Sova. Knowing that to work with, just basically run through the toxic screen, face the door,
God.
and all 3 players the lineup. Why even?
Yeah, at this point, honestly, I think Vibor got his entire revenge story done. Remember, 3 people pushed him on the previous round, and then he got one tapped out of existence, and now he's gonna be the one dishing out those one taps. Beautifully done from the side of Vibor, ladies and gentlemen. And with that, it's pretty much just done and dusted. 1-7 on the scorecards, finishing off here. And with just a handful of rounds left here, Salty, for the second half, I really am confused to say the very least of how Flamexserenity are going to be playing this. Previously as well, when you consider Icebox, this is not their best map. It feels as though they're a lot more lost here on this map in particular, and they don't know what kind of avenues they need to fight at, or what kind of positions that they can hold strongly to counteract their opponents. Especially when you consider the A-side executions coming on down through from the side of Velocity. Velocity are constantly playing their executions to be purely based upon defaults, and this default is so strong that the side of Flamexserenity, they really just don't know how to go in for this thing and go in for this engagement.
I mean, no real utilities, right? This time we do see a Hunter's Fury coming through from Right to Ace, and Marzel gets a frag as well. But most of the time, there's literally nothing as such in terms of utility. There's only the talk screen that comes up, and Flamex, they're just forced out because of the fact that Marzel and MW1, they're getting all those frags. Element gets one on the MW1. The screens has been blocked off. Falcon as well as Reaper. What can they possibly pull off? Some sort of information with the outrun, but no. Wait, no. I almost thought that he's going for the fan kill, but thankfully he didn't. Reaper, the op, is still in his hand. Will he be able to save it? Misses a lot of shots over there.
Ooh, that's gonna hurt, man. That's
I mean, aggressive. I feel like I feel like we're being judging Flamexserenity at a different level. Like, they are certainly playing against one of the best teams in the country right now in the form of Velocity, and this is a very new side. I feel like there's a lot to learn. And this is more about gathering experience instead of showing a good performance. For sure, we've seen a lot of underdogs games happening, but those underdogs were probably True Rippers, or probably Valor, probably Enigma, or probably someone else. And those teams have been playing for some time. This is Flamexserenity that we're talking about, a team that is barely qualified in the gauntlet. So comparing them or probably
Oh my god, I'm on a stall.
At this point, I'm not really even surprised if Amaterasu or MW1 pull off something magnificent, because we have seen them time and time again. The point I was basically making was that Flamexserenity, they've got a lot to learn, and I feel like Gauntlet is also a platform to learn as well. I'm really positive about this team coming back in the next season.
Yeah, when you do consider that just needed one win to keep themselves relevant here in this entire tournament. They don't get this win, and I'm not counting them out just here, because you do need to consider this is still a 3 versus 3 situation. They can possibly pull off a miracle if they do play their cards properly! Wow. And it's got the element with a beautiful spray from that Vandal at that range as well, Salty. He just nearly pulled off a miracle going into that line. It's gonna be right to ace. He cannot go in for that wall bang though, and now it's gonna go down over onto a 2 versus 3 situation. The resurrection is still available though, so this resurrection could just play a massive role moving on down the line if they're able to take a little bit of yellow control in the process. The recon bolt doesn't spot anything out, but the owl drone does though, and Amaterasu needs to go in for that swing. Maybe if he gets the skip, then it's gonna be a little bit more different.
Beautiful.
Instead, it's gonna be Somulal being the one to take everyone out, and in this process, it's gonna be that winning moment that we were expecting. And Salty, this is where the momentum has finally shifted, hopefully in the favor of the side of Flamexserenity, because if they're able to take it down over to a 4-8 scoreline at the bare minimum here, things are gonna be looking up for them. But it's a big but. They need to take it down to a 4-8. Otherwise, there is no way they're gonna be able to win this on their own at the side.
Absolutely, absolutely. I guess 4-8 is still a very respectable scoreline if you think about this map. But Flamexserenity, just like you mentioned, there's a very big but this was one good retake. I'm only taking the positives from this team right now at this point, and the way they executed this retake on the back of that nice kill onto the Sova. I believe it was Element who actually got that. Kill through the Viper's Pit, right? And that was really that really kickstarted this entire thing. But Marzel shuts down Somunal. MW1 does the same to Reaper as well. 2 important players, 2 duelists down already.
Oh my god, MW1!
I mean, MW1, he gets a stop. He gets 2 of his own.
As I said here, Salty, that was a big but. It's difficult, especially when you see the side of Velocity get a lot more serious here. And Amaterasu, he's just having a field day, does get digged out, so he needs to get off his high pedestal just for a little while. But still, he can play Scars probably. Crossfire has been set up, the position has been revealed, and poor old Falcon, yeah, where does he go? Like, does he stay inside of the molly? Does he push forward? Does he go left? Does he go right? Does he go into the arms of Amaterasu, or does he go into the arms of Marcel? That's the biggest question, and this time around he chose the Nano Swarm instead. Good choice, I would say.
Smart mouth aggressive, but 9-2 the scoreline. VLT a little one-sided for them right now. I mean, they haven't had to change things too much, right? They've been basically playing default, just like you mentioned, and it's been working. The A pushes has been working. Flamex, they haven't been able to get a lot of frags in the process. That is really hurting them, but I want to see some change, VLT. That's what I'm expecting for. Maybe bring some entertainment as well for who's ever watching. Reaper. Aggressive!
Oh no!
Misses the Sheriff right to A, shuts him down.
Yeah, that's gonna hurt just a tiny little bit. You need to create that corner so beautifully, otherwise it's gonna be difficult. Before, what is this movement? Wait a second, before. You're not supposed to do that. That's a little bit illegal. And Amaterasu just got a kill onto Andrews. Before, what was that movement? And how did you just dodge out all of those shots and then immediately pop the person? And now it's going to be a massive wraparound rotation down over towards that A side, and Falcon is like,
spike planted.
Oh, the spike's on A. Right. Well, it's going to be a long walk, and I think that Marcel's going to be the gatekeeper.
I guess this is going to be the first contact with Marzel instead. Of course, heard footsteps, and the alarm bot did distract him. Marzel, easy frag for him, but Flamexserenity
Switching
to
sides.
10 the scoreline, not really favorable for them, but VLT, they're having a walk in the park, aren't they?
Yeah, they're just doing what they do best. They are fragging out, they're having fun, they're enjoying themselves in the process as well. Like, look at the smile from the side of right to Ace and Marcel. These guys are just chilling, they're just vibing. They're having fun in the process as well, and they have a lot of confidence, and once again, they're falling into the same trap. But in this map in particular, I would say that the side of Flamexserenity, they're just a little bit more lost. They don't know what to expect, they don't know what to do, and that's understandable. A lot of teams cannot play Icebox in the same tower. But yes, Ollie?
I feel aggressive in this map. Flamex, they looked a little more confident at the bare minimum. They're taking frags. They at least know their retakes, right? For sure, the scoreline looks different. For sure, it's very different right now, but they're confident at the very bare minimum. Marcel gets Andy. The mid push doesn't really work out that way, I guess. Especially when Marcel is like a guardian angel. Element has made his way towards yellow. Something can possibly happen. Sonal gets one interesting frag on the MW1. Marcel taps away. Element, sorry. I really feel sorry for you, but it's not every day you get tapped by Marcel, don't you?
Ooh, a Waterasu, that's a pretty bad angle to fight in, especially when you're on the side of the defense. Gets taken out in the process, but at the same time, look at the door. He's already there. He's just chilling. He's just vibing. He needs to swing around the corner and play his cards properly because they need to be the ones who pushes out straight through from the inside here, ladies and gentlemen. But they need to be just a little bit more careful of how they try to hold down this engagement. But at the same time, before beautiful shot coming on down from him, he's gonna be able to take down one, and he's gonna be able to take down a second as well. Before it's just too good to be true, ladies and gentlemen. This guy is hitting shots he has no business hitting, but at the same time, he's the Viper for a reason. He is the pseudo sentinel. That's how you go through all of this.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Team VLT just cruising to victory in the second game. Icebox as well, 11-2 the scoreline, and Flamexserenity, they're just really struggling, aren't they? I mean, it's not just strategically aggressive. It's not just tactically. I feel like even mechanically, VLT is better now. You do understand, right? I've said this time and time again. You're comparing a team that's viewed against the best team in the country right now. That doesn't really work that way, but Element shows potential. Takes down MW1 with a Marshal. Good start for him. It's all green right now in the A side. Both Doc Stream comes through. The snake bite as well. Reaper takes a little bit of damage, but then falls back to safety. Complete encouragement for that 8% team. Flamexserenity, they're actually falling back. This can actually work well because Falcon has started making his way through mid. There's Marcel as the Guardian Angel, and with the Sting, I'm not really sure at that range he can cause a lot of damage.
Now, at this point, they do have the man advantage, but how are they going to be using it is going to be the real question, because before he's slowly pushing his way up, down towards that A side, B side. But at the same time, they need to try and go in for this fast. The wall hardens just a little bit too quickly. There's some way to do here, but before he's actually going to be able to get one kill, Waterasu does get his second. Slowly but surely, they're going in for the shot. Zola, what are you looking at? He doesn't look in front of him. He gets taken out. Marcel's going to be good for two. Marcel's going to be good for a third one as well, being the one to take out Elvis. What just happened here, Salty? It felt like things were going so beautifully for the side of Flamexserenity, and everything just fell apart in a matter of seconds. Match point. They were not looking in the right avenue. They were not looking in front of them. They were all looking behind them. Is this what you call the Vibor effect?
Vibor effect? I'm not really sure about that, but this happened time and time again, aggressive. Flamex, in spite of the fact if they get those initial kills and even if they get those man advantage established, they just can't work around Marcel and his lingering presence. He's been too good throughout the series, not just in this map, but also in the map of Haven. And we have seen him clutching rounds round after round. Again, Flamex trying to do a similar thing, but Marcel wants to break that wall right to a certain. Is there in prime position, shut this aggression down. He's gonna line them up, not really, but Marcel and MW1, the click, and Marcel big Element being completely shredded by Vibor. And that's how. And that's how they end things. This is how the world ends for Flamexserenity, ladies and gentlemen. But I must say, this has been a good try. This has been a valiant effort from them. In spite of the scoreline being heavily one-sided, in spite of the fact that the games have been heavily one-sided, I really feel like a new team. This team got to learn so much from Velocity. If not anything, they got to understand the differences. where the skill ceiling is and where the skill floor is, but they only go above from this point on, I guess.
I think in a way, when you do face off against such incredible opposition, you tend to learn exactly what they're trying to do and
Exactly.
exactly learn how they're playing. And in a way, it's a wake up call. This is the level that we really do need to go on down towards, and this is the level that we can reach if we work hard. And just as they're stating it, I think that Velocity, they did tell them what exactly they need to do moving on down the line. But for now, let's head on down over towards the match highlights, ladies and gentlemen, and see exactly what happened from start to finish when you consider the map of Icebox here. And honestly, to break it all down, I would say it's a little bit more of a stomping when it comes down to the terms of confidence. The way that they were taking a lot of these different engagements, the way that they were taking a lot of these fights, it was just not as potent as you would have expected here. Which it takes a salty because it felt as the Flamexserenity, they were just a little bit too lost. They were taking gunfights, yes, just as you stated, they were a lot more confident in their gunfights, but when it came down to strategy, felt like they had none.
Absolutely. I feel like the playbook, there's a lot for them to learn, especially from the best of teams right now. I feel like, but first, I believe there has to be the mechanical skill set, right? You always talk about players being up there, and you always see most of the players from Flamex, they tend to lose out quite a lot of those 50-50 1v1s, right? And one of the reasons is because most of them are probably tribing. Now, I'm not really a mechanical god, so I can't really say much about it, but it really felt to me that players from Velocity, they were a little better in terms of just raw aim power. But I really don't want to talk about
Movement.
aim power in this one, because if you talk about strats, VLT didn't really do much against Team Flamex to break the defense apart. It was mostly the default that they played with. Few variations here and there, trying to explore the mid avenue a little bit, but the only thing which worked for Flamex in their attacking side was to try and be as aggressive as you can and try and catch VLT off guard. Like, that has been their mantra for both the maps in this one. But apart from that, it's been a VLT playground, honestly. And just like you said, I feel like there's a lot to learn in terms of strategy. They've got to have a deeper playbook than just YOLO pushes into side. They've got to use utility or ability in a much more potent fashion. And just like you mentioned, there also has to be confidence in every step that they take. Now, I feel there was an improvement in some sort in the second game, because they were taking gunfights, and most of the rounds there were trades coming through, which didn't really come through in the first in the first map in Haven. They were completely astray of what they were supposed to. They had no clue whatsoever. But in the map of Icebox, I felt like there was general improvement. So I feel like the team is on the right end of the progression curve. It's only about time when they start learning new things and start implementing them. But yeah, just like I mentioned at the start of the day, I feel like surviving Gauntlet Season 2 and avoiding relegation should be should
Yep.
be their prime priority at this point.
When you consider the story of the underdogs of season number 1 and over onto season number 2, just look at the side of Team Valorant, the way that they're the ones to progress.
Exactly.
Last time around, they're the ones who nearly faced relegation and they were barely able to edge it out and get into the playoffs. But now they're on the top of the board for Group D. And that's one of the main things that you really do need to consider here, because Flamexserenity, they could be that next team that comes back even stronger moving on down the line. But Salty, trying to avoid relegation, it's going to be quite a difficult feat indeed when you consider how far they are. They just needed 1 point here to keep themselves relevant throughout this entire tournament. The fact that they've not even gotten that 1 point just made, like, I think it put the nail on the coffin as well when you consider they only have one more match left to play. I don't believe they're going to be able to survive relegation. As we look at on down over towards the scoreboard, though, I can see that Marcel, he just had a field day. 19 kills and a 332 ACS on a killjoy. Tell me, who does this other than Marcel on a killjoy?
I mean, I really don't know, but honestly, I love the fact that Marcel has been feeling himself on the KJ. I feel like he fills a very important part in the team when when Helef or Vipor isn't really the anchor. It's always Marzel. And the fact that Marzel has been able to stay calm, his playstyle has been influential in Velocity clutching out a lot of rounds, honestly, against Flamexserenity. And that basically means that Marzel is starting to fit into the team much better than he did when he just started out in the team. So that's good news for Velocity. But apart from that, it has also been a field day for MW1 and Amaterasu as well as Right to Ace.
But for now, ladies and gentlemen, let's head on down over towards the group standings and see exactly how these teams have moved up and down the standings according to what they're doing here. And it's kind of weird to say the very least here, Salty, that and kind of sad as well, because just as I say that Flamexserenity, they don't really have a chance of surviving relegation anymore. Even if they win out their second game, win out their last game on a 2-0, it's still going to be 4 points, and they are going to be relegated, and they need to fight their way back up from season 3. But for the side of Velocity, 7 points on the board, they're just chilling. They have 2 more games to go. They can easily take those 2 wins and force themselves up on down towards the rankings if they're able to do so. But at the same time, Reckoning Esports being at the very top, I didn't really expect this, but the new Reckoning squad, it's a force to be reckoned with, that's for sure.
Absolutely. The new Reckoning squad, the new Enigma squad, Enigma 2.0 and everything. I feel like there's been a lot of transfers happening. There's been a lot of interesting things happening as well. And that basically means that the tournament is going to get even more exciting. The playoffs are going to get exciting as well. Yeah, we also got to see that Team T69 is actually out of the playoffs bracket. Now, that's some big news. That's some big names who might not play in the next stage of the gauntlet. So I feel like Team T69 need to pull their socks up a little bit.
Yeah, they need to make sure they try and do their hardest in the following matches, because when you do consider what exactly happened to them moving on down the line against the Velocity game, they need to just force themselves just a little bit more to push them over the edge and possibly take away that spot from Velocity, because Velocity, they're the only ones at the bottom of the barrel. They're the only ones who are just not able to make that margin, not just yet. And if the side of Team 69 are able to pray that Velocity lose out on one more of their games where they score only 1 point, then T69, they have the best possible opportunity to force themselves up and go on head on down over into playoffs. But that's just a lot of spicy speculation, ladies and gentlemen. But for now, that's all that we have for you for today. And as we are going to be signing on off, I'm going to get myself energized, because this was a really intense game with a lot of fun memes and a lot of fun jokes and a lot of amazing frags as well in the process. So get yourself a can of Red Bull. You see that QR code down below. So make sure you scan it. Get yourself that can. Get yourself energized, because at night, if you want a game like these pros on here on the server, got to get yourself that can of Red Bull. And also, as you are scanning that QR code, make sure to check all the links down below in the description from our lovely sponsors. We have a lot of deals set up for you from the side of WD Black and also AMD for your next big upgrade. But for now, honestly, ladies and gentlemen, we are tired. I know that you guys are tired as well. We had a banger of a game cheering for these teams. But for now, we're going to be signing on off with the LG Ultragear Teasing on the Season 2, powered by WD Black and AMD Ryzen Radiant. We'll catch you tomorrow.
free, let's go.